Everybody knows all of the Daryl Hall, John Oates hits. They are the most successful pop duo in the world. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this morning we're talking with John Oates, who's telling his story in the new book called Change of Seasons. And John Oates, who spends a lot of time here in Colorado, is back with us this morning. It's great to see you again. Thanks for coming by. Was there a reason to write the book? Because as a reader, I really enjoyed it, but there's a lot in here. Did you have a lot that you needed to say?
Well, I didn't know I had a lot to say. I did a series of interviews with a fellow named Chris Epting, who was my co-writer on this. And in the course of the interviews, he really seemed to get me in a way. And at one point he said, you know, you've got interesting stories, you've led an interesting life, you really ought to write a book, and if you want to do it, I'd like to help you. And that's really how it started. And Chris has been a great help with me. He's a published author, so he guided me through the book process, the publishing process, but he also did a lot of research, and he would tee me up with these incredible memories. So the memories began flooding back, and then I would kind of add the color and the real, experience of what happened.
There's a lot of Colorado in here, which is interesting for people here, and we'll talk about that in a second. But when you first saw John Denver, there's an interesting story in here because he was an unknown at the time as well.
That's right.
But you knew he had something.
Well, I went out on a student airfare in 1968. Flew from Philadelphia. It was the first time I was ever on an airplane.
Right.
First time I had left the East Coast, and I was a skier on the East Coast, and I wanted to go to Colorado. So ended up in Aspen, bummed around. I was a bit of a hippie, and I had heard that this good songwriter was playing in Snowmass Village, and Snowmass had just opened, literally, at that time. And John was playing in a little bar, and I went to see him, and he played, he played Leaving on a Jet Plane.
Right.
And I remember that distinctly because he was really excited about the fact that Peter, Paul, and Mary had recorded it. And
was he John Denver yet?
He was John Denver, but he was basically unknown.
Yeah.
And he was playing in a little bar in Snowmass.
So then you end up living in Colorado, and you came back later almost to find yourself. It's almost like you left because the music industry had chewed you up and spit you out a little bit and left you broke.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a comeuppance in a lot of ways. I had gotten divorced. I had a certain financial situation that wasn't my doing, but I was, unfortunately not aware enough to take care of things the way I should have. And our manager left, so it was really a time when I needed to reinvent myself, and Colorado really saved me, to be honest with you.
And then you ended up remarrying, moving, and your neighbor is Hunter S. Thompson.
Right.
Hello.
Moved right across the street from Hunter Thompson. Didn't know it at the time until the day we were there with the real estate agent standing on the property, and we heard a shot. And then we heard the pellets raining down on the metal barn roof. And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, that's your neighbor." And at that point, my wife and I said, "Is this a good thing?" But anyway, we ended up living across from him for over 20 years, and he was actually really great. Really enjoyed being with him, and it was especially great because he slept all day and wrote all night, and I didn't.
No, so. There's a story in here, we don't have time to get into it, about Monday Night Football, and you're reading a story to him. You come back, you play Red Rocks this past summer, you're coming back to Fiddler's.
July 15th, I believe it is.
And then you're also going to go back to your hometown, right?
Aspen Jazz Fest on September 1st, yeah.
We were just talking about this, and I talked about it with everybody. I spent the weekend reading the book, and I'm hanging around with friends. I go, "What's your favorite song?" And they'd name one, and then they'd go, "No, wait, no, wait. No, wait." Is there one that you say is the song, is the one that's most requested?
Well, we have a great problem. We have a lot of hits.
Yeah.
But I always go back to She's Gone, only because it was the first song that really put us on the map.
Right.
It's the first song that people recognized that we were something.
Yeah.
And to this day, we play it every night, and it's a song that never seems to get old.
And I guess the way you guys work together, this was basically a song you wrote, but was finished as a team, to say the least, almost everything you guys did.
Yeah, it's it was a true collaboration, and I think we kind of pooled our kind of sense of loss and made that song into something universal that everyone over the years has seemed to relate to.
Tonight at 6 o'clock, you get a chance to meet John Oates. He's going to be over at the Tattered Cover on Colfax signing copies of this book called Change of Seasons, which is. There's a lot in here. It's quite a life that he's already led. And by the way, happy birthday. I know that's coming up in a few days. Get out and see John Oates tonight over at the Tattered Cover on Colfax. Thanks as always. Great to see you again.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Natalie? Oh, we'll be right back. My bad.